When we talk about prisons, many people might immediately think of places meant to confine and punish criminals. And nobody really wants to end up there, right? But I believe that if you, my friends, listen to the stories today, you might even want to move into some of these prisons. Because today, we'll be comparing different prisons around the world, starting from the most brutal prison to the one I'm currently in, which feels more like a royal palace.
Let's start with a place that gives off a royal vibe. Justice Volkswagenstanstalt Bottle Prison in Germany, located in Hamburg.
If you happen to pass by without knowing, you might mistake it for an ancient castle because of its appearance, resembling an old brick fortress complete with heraldic symbols. Inside, the corridors still manage to look cute, with individual cells making it feel more private. Peeking inside each prisoner's room, you'll find it resembling a student's dorm, complete with a desk, wardrobe, bed, and even a small TV. Every morning a guard comes to open the door and greet with a good morning or Guten Tag. It's almost like they treat you like a student or a prince. Countries that have gained fame include places like Denmark, for example. They've really promoted this. One of their most renowned prisons is better referred to as anything but a prison. It's more like a remote island, because it's a prison built on one of the islands. The only way to escape is by boat. However, hardly anyone manages to escape, because not only are they physically confined and repentant, but they also have other activities to engage in, like skiing, horseback riding, sunbathing, learning woodworking, and even farming a bit. Moreover, there's almost no guard watching over them. It's hilarious. Really, because here they believe that changing criminals into good people requires purifying their souls in nature, not subjecting them to heavy punishment. Otherwise, they'll eventually become good people themselves. And it seems to be working because only about 1 out of 10 former inmates who leave here end up reoffending and returning to this prison. Compared to other prisons in Europe where the return rate is about 7 out of 10, I'm not sure if those who return here find the atmosphere reminiscent of a holiday resort. Now let's look at a country in Southeast Asia where the situation is quite different. That's the Philippines, where one of the most famous prisons globally, the Manila City Jail, is situated. It's ranked as one of the most densely populated prisons globally. Originally designed to accommodate around 6,000 inmates, it now holds almost 25,000. Imagine how packed those rooms are. Some prisoners even sleep in the hallways if there's no space left in the cells. It's chaotic, and if prisoners decide to revolt, with about 200 inmates per guard, it wouldn't be too difficult. Down south, on the island of Cebu, there's another renowned prison in the Philippines. In 2007, a viral video of prisoners dancing to Michael Jackson's Thriller was released, making headlines worldwide. While many have seen the clip, few might know exactly which prison it was. It was in the Philippines. The idea for these dance routines actually came from a prison guard who wanted the inmates to exercise creatively for at least an hour a day. So they learned various dances, including K-pop moves, turning the prisons almost into cheerleading squads. Now, let's take a look at another country that has the highest prison population in the world, and that is none other than the United States of America. They have more than 2 million people incarcerated. But don't worry, because their country is large, so the prisons here vary depending on each state. However, generally, they have a familiar appearance like what you've seen in Hollywood movies. They have iron beds, toilets, sinks, and metal cages. But there's one special place, the Sparks, Florence, and Colorado, you say. The interior of this place is furnished with sleek furniture, such as tables, chairs, and cabinets, and even metal bunk beds. Moreover, they have bathrooms inside each room, making it look like a modern hotel room. However, it's not because behind the luxurious style of these rooms, they are designed to confine the most dangerous criminals in the country. Therefore, They have to make everything out of concrete to prevent inmates from using them as weapons or tools for escape. Just imagine if they were made of metal, they could turn them into keys or clubs to bash someone's head, like in the games we've played. Furthermore, having bathrooms inside is to allow inmates to shower without having to go outside too much. Suppose the more they go outside, the more they might learn about the prison layout, making it easier for them to plan an escape. And about the exercise. It's fortunate that in the United States, they have a law that requires every inmate to have at least 1 hour of physical activity per day. When it comes to outdoor activities, many places in America have spacious yards with barbed wire fences to allow inmates to exercise. Each inmate can borrow equipment from the recreation department, such as basketballs, to play with. They will then be released to play in the yard for about an hour. But if anyone thinks about escaping, there's no need to worry because there are guard towers with armed guards watching them at all times. Moreover, when talking about exercise, believe it or not, some prisons in Thailand are also at the global level. Some prisons in Thailand offer yoga classes for inmates, where each inmate can choose whether to participate or not. The first prison to start this kind of exercise was the Ratchaburi Central Prison, which began in 2011. It all started when a superintendent attended a yoga class and felt relaxed and thought it could change the mood of the inmates from angry to calm. So, they started teaching yoga to inmates, hoping to change their mood. Besides, after they are released, the inmates can also have additional careers. However, one country that seems to disagree with the idea of exercise is Russia. In some Russian prisons, there are no rules requiring inmates to exercise. Sometimes they allow inmates to be confined in a room for 24 hours, forgetting about their human rights. One of the cruelest prisons in Russia is called Black Dolphin. The cute name comes from a cute dolphin sculpture located in front of the prison. But the conditions inside are far from cute. It is one of the oldest prisons in Russia used to confine very dangerous criminals, such as those sentenced to life imprisonment. Each cell in this prison is specially designed with an extra layer of security, such as a cage between the door and the window, to prevent inmates from attacking guards. Additionally, cells are not built directly on the ground. They are raised at least 2 floors above to prevent inmates from digging out. Guards also ensure that inmates do not learn the layout of the prison, so when they are walking outside, the guards will lock their arms and make them walk with bowed heads, like crawling. If any lucky inmate is allowed to exercise, they will only walk in a large concrete room with no sunlight. There are iron bars above, and guards will walk on top, watching them as if they were rats or fish in a cage. It's quite different from the prisons in Norway. This prison is also for serious offenders. It's been named the best maintained and safest prison in the world. But what my friends have seen inside, you wouldn't believe it's a prison. They think it's more like a hotel because every single piece of decoration is designed by famous designers. Each window is large and lets in plenty of light, making it feel comfortable and pleasant. If a prisoner enters this prison, they also upgrade their room. When they first arrive, it's a basic room with not much in it. But if they behave well over time, they get moved to fancier rooms. They also get access to a kitchen and a common area. Each place is shared among about 10-12 inmates. They can also buy food from the department's shop and cook for themselves. It seems more like a student dormitory, where you don't have to go out to study. Instead of studying, they spend their days playing games and watching TV. It feels more like a condo with guards watching than a prison. The inmates can relax and feel comfortable. The guards can't do much except watch. They are not allowed to carry guns because it's believed that having guns would create pressure on the inmates. Additionally, the prison supports inmates to participate in activities outside, like going to the gym. There are various classes available, like woodworking, library work, and even serious activities like recording studios. And if someone wants to be a DJ, they have the equipment and signals ready for that. If someone thinks it's not enough, the Department of Corrections even asks the inmates for feedback on whether the prison is comfortable enough or if there's anything they can improve. Oh, I want to be a prisoner in Norway now. Don't worry, I'm not supporting committing crimes. And if you're curious about luxurious prisons without breaking the law, there's one place in the world where you can experience it. Nathaland, the land of the Red Lanterns. Here, they've turned old prisons into luxurious hotels for tourists. Due to the reduced number of criminals in this country, many prisons are almost falling apart. The country has only about 10,000 prisoners compared to the Philippines, where there are 25,000 prisoners in just one prison. Here, they don't even know where to keep the ghosts. If they demolish the buildings, it's a waste because they are still sturdy. So they filled them with beautiful lamps, cabinets, beds, and lots of furniture for tourists to rent and experience a luxurious prisoner's life. You might wonder why there are so few prisoners here. Well, it's because the country has changed its ways of punishing criminals. Instead of sending them to prison, they use community service as a punishment. Each criminal can lead a normal life at home, staying with their family. As long as they don't leave the house, it's a way for them to contribute to society, which has proven to be effective in reducing crime rates significantly. So, as you can see, the perception of prisons can vary greatly depending on where you are in the world. From the royal, like prisons in Germany, to the overcrowded ones in the Philippines, each has its own unique characteristics and challenges. But hey, can you choose which place is the best to stay? Feel free to comment and let us know. I have to say goodbye. Bye!